Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jagged Edge. This is Ian here with Chris.
Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello.
Keeping things upbeat. Had busy weeks both ways here, and still plenty of news to share with everybody here. Mainly a lot of stuff about some big studios that we know and love. We're definitely getting some stuff about Avengers, about Star Wars and whatnot, but this was, after a bit of a drought, I was pretty happy with the amount of gaming news we had this time too, both from the recent Gamescom event we had this past week. You've been following that. I like to lovingly call that the follow-up to E3. All the stuff that didn't have definition felt like it got some kind of contour here, and then some other stuff we're going to have fun telling you about too.
Yeah. And sorry about not having a show last week. Completely my fault. I had a little trip I had to take. That being said, we also will not have a show next week. So,
and because this time it's going to be a trip I got to take. So.
That's right. But we have a show this week, and there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, plenty of stuff here. We got plenty of stuff in the wing still. So, yeah, let's jump right in it, man. First of all, hey, we've been following this one. We've been looking at the fallout from James Gunn, what Batista and the rest of the Guardians crew have been saying about it. But hey, check it out. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 put on indefinite hold. This was through the Hollywood. Reported they had an exclusive on Friday from inside sources saying that the pre-production staff for this film to go into full production in 2019, they've been dismissed. And, well, everybody's been freed up to do other stuff.
Yeah.
Ouch. Man.
Yeah, it's not a horrible sign, but it's definitely a sign that they're taking a step back here. They're not moving forward with the plan.
Right. I mean, very few things have stammered the Marvel train here, but this is this is something I know the cast is looking at closely. Another announcement that came out on the heels of this is now Disney is not going to be changing their mind about James Gunn himself, bringing him back on board. Marvel Studios is behind this. There's no dissension in that rank, so the decision's final. Also, the Hollywood Reporter sources claim that unlike most indefinite holds go for films, that usually ends with you not seeing the film. This one is just basically more of a regrouping. They're just trying to get their ducks in order here. So.
Yeah, so, this actually isn't the first time this has happened for the MCU, although it was a little bit of a different situation. That was with the Inhumans, that was given to the TV side of things, where it ultimately died a miserable, long, horrible death. I don't think that's going to happen here, though. I don't know. So they can deal with reshuffling the deck.
Right.
They obviously did there, and that would have, and I guess kind of similar, that would have been a huge cast of characters that they would have brought, and who knows what the initial plan was going to be for Infinity War and such with the Inhumans, whatever it was. It wasn't, not to say it badly, because I think some kind of version of the Inhumans is possible and probably a lot of fun. We didn't miss them.
No.
We didn't miss them with Infinity War, and so it was just fine. Now, that being said, we've already gotten two very good Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and for some, I like, for example, I have some friends who aren't into MCU, but they love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
But they're not MCU people. They even don't like Spider-Man, which I don't get. They're not into Thor or Captain America. They like Iron Man. They like Guardians of the Galaxy. So there is a niche here. The Guardians of the Galaxy, and I believe more than most of the other ones, they do have a niche that extends past most of the MCU base, and I don't think that they would want to let that go. I do worry, though. James Gunn coming back. We've talked about that.
Right.
I get it. Like I said, and quite honestly, if they would have said, "Hey, James Gunn is back," I don't think he would have been met with applaud by most people.
Right.
I think most people would have been like, "All right," because our conversations about that was basically, okay, well, if they do bring him back, they've got to make it okay, and how do they do that? I don't. At the same time, he's such an influence on those movies.
He is,
and I'm not sure. I'm still not sure how they square that circle as far as doing it without him. A lot of people talk about, there's another piece coming up here in a minute about Taika Waititi taking over. Still, And while I think that's a very similar vibe, Thor Ragnarok had a very similar vibe, and that was a good movie. Um, it didn't feel like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It looked similar to a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but it didn't feel like a Guardians movie.
Right.
And so I think it's a smart move. Hopefully this doesn't screw anything up. I mean, we put a lot of trust and respect into the MCU and what they do, but they are not impervious to screwing up.
Of course.
So I think this is, if they're not bringing James Gunn back, if they don't have a director lined up yet, this is probably the best thing to do. But yeah, Guardians is in trouble.
Yeah,
I think it's safe to say officially that it could be time to worry about them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Marvel, with just the sheer library they've managed to rack up so far for the MCU. I mean, you'd imagine within somewhere, of course, you'd have films that would perform, some better, some less than others, but on the whole, they've really built a solid backbone because of all the interplay between these. As you said, with Guardians kind of being that one group of films in the franchise that's sort of on the outer rim, the outer reaches of that. Those are ones you really have to be a little more creative with because they don't often fall back on, let's say, the events of Civil War or the events of like the most recent Spider-Man film. I mean, this is a crew of heroes that are so far away from the happenings of Earth. It may as well be an afterthought to them. So, it's going to take, I think, the right team to get that right, to get the interplay right. I think it's right for Marvel to slow down. If it does really slow down too much and dud out, all right, so be it. But I think they can afford the slowdown. I don't think it's going to kill the MCU right now.
I don't think it'll have any detrimental effects to the MCU as a whole. I mean, again, they are a bit on the fringe, and there are people that like Guardians that don't like other parts of the MCU. But at the end of the day, that's not a majority in any sense.
Right.
I would say that the majority of overall MCU fans also like Guardians, probably a lot. But if they weren't there, I don't think for most people it would be a deal breaker for them to continue following the MCU. I do want to say that Dave Bautista, as much as I appreciate his enthusiasm, dude needs to chill, or he's going to find himself another job. He will not stop. And I understand, and I even appreciate the group letter that they all did and showing support for this guy, for James Gunn, for what he's done, not for what he had done, and not defending that at all, but for what he had been doing and what he did for these films. But dude's gotta chill out a little bit because he's really gonna find himself getting killed off.
It's
5 minutes in.
It's just the irony. We said this earlier. It's just so Drax-like for him to bite into this and just not let go.
It is, but I mean, and I guess if he doesn't care, then he doesn't care.
Right.
Then whatever. If he's willing to lose his job over, but he needs to recognize that they just fired the director over tweets.
Yeah.
They'll fire other people over tweets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, if he really appreciates that job, and I really do appreciate what he's doing and what he's standing, obviously Dave Bautista comes from a very different background than most people coming from a wrestling background. I think I talked about this once before. He's used to dealing with a very different type of personality and shenanigans, and overall, the level of acceptable behavior is different.
Right.
And I don't just talk that from someone who used to watch wrestling. I actually have family who were in the wrestling business. So I talk about that from a bit of an educated background on that. I'm not just talking out of my butt. And that being said, you can research plenty of the shenanigans and just poor backgrounds and attitude that a lot of wrestlers deal with and stuff. You don't have to throw the rock too far to hit somebody that has a really discouraging and unacceptable background and personality in that business. So I get his perspective. But yeah, he's got to chill. Because I do want to see Drax again. And they were already talking about major shakeups in the cast with 3 and 4. So, which is kind of a staple thing for the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
So yeah, chill out. Chill out a little bit.
Hopefully. Well, there's still an unknown variable floating around Marvel wise. We have here, and you led into this a little earlier. That's with Mr. Taika, also known as Taika Cohen. I think was his other name.
Oh, okay.
He goes by Taika Waititi. He had a meetup with Marvel Studios for what we don't know yet. This is an unknown film project. Now, he's been the front runner to take over for Guardians, but some are saying that the scheduling doesn't quite match up with the film production plans and all that good stuff. It could be Thor 4. Not sure. I mean, bear in mind, this was the guy, Thor Ragnarok, if I remember right.
Yeah, he was the director for Ragnarok.
Yeah, who's the runner in that. So, I mean, of course, I think that's a logical step. I mean, could very well be, but hey.
Could be something new.
Could be.
They're talking Eternals and stuff, and crazy space stuff, and I mean James Gunn, who's obviously out, but Taika Waititi, who's still obviously in. Right. They may be looking at him.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? What do you think his super secret film is for Marvel Studios?
Hard to pin the film down, but I can say a direction. I say space stuff, and here's why I say space stuff, because this is, to me, a good a time as any to start putting more of those pieces in order for that future casted arc of MCU. We know that with the next Avengers, we're going to cap off a lot of things we've built already. And then next we're going to have the new Spider-Man film to kind of kick off our brand new season of Marvel everything and expanded MCU universe. This just makes sense to me to start lining up those pieces better, especially if you're going to be expanding things more to the cosmic, the Eternals, the space level and stuff. You need a broad vision for that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that this is for a fourth Thor movie, and because I know Chris Hemsworth, who was, and quite frankly, I don't blame him. I was very bored with Thor 2 up until Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But he's very excited about Thor again and wanting to play him again. I would love to see a passing of the torch, because they're not passing the hammer anymore, that's for sure.
Right.
But a passing of the torch to a new Thor.
Yeah.
Maybe bring in Beta Ray Bill, and do a movie like that.
Yeah, and man, I wonder about that after seeing the that monolithic, like head bust of Beta Ray Bill on in Thor Ragnarok. I was like, oh shoot, we've kind of skipped a chance to introduce him. He's obviously already had a presence here, So
or someone of his race.
This is true too. Could be, but I wonder. I don't know. Didn't he have? I need to look at the shot again. Didn't he have the whole winged hat and everything on?
I don't remember. I do know that for I think it was Thor 2. Maybe it was Ragnarok. Right. Beta Ray Bill actually at some point in one of those scripts was in one of them.
Interesting.
And they decided not to do that, which they've done a lot of. They've done that before with other characters for other movies. But I would like to see a passing of the Thor mantle from one to the other. I'm not quite sure how they do that without Mjolnir, but
same.
Something. Or they could pass over the new Groot axe.
Yeah, forge a new one, or forge a new Mjolnir, because we've had a continuity that showed two at once. Speaking of that, I was surprised that when the event happened, when All Live was halved, and then when Groot faded, I was surprised that did not affect the Stormbreaker at all.
I gave that no thought whatsoever, none. And let me say this. Thinking about that right now, and you bringing that up, I would have to say that I would think that would happen because very similar to how this Groot is not actually Groot, but is a offspring of Groot. Very similar. That is a branch or branches. Yeah. I think it's two branches that had since left that body and are now part of something completely different. Something very powerful and magical that can almost kill Thanos. And just could have if you would have aimed for the head, you dumb. Come on.
He even told him. At the end of the day, it's not a huge hang up for me because, like you said, that's honestly the gears that were kind of going in the back of my mind about that. But it's food for thought.
No, but I think when Groot when he did dust, wasn't his arm still in the ground? Like he'd done all those vines when he attacked Thanos, and I think all those things disappeared. Or was it just Groot that disappeared at that point?
As far as what I saw, I think that's what threw me off. Like I remember, every trace of him at that moment just faded. Like anything like on his body. And I immediately looked. I'm like, oh crap! Is the axe gonna break? And okay.
Now, maybe I think those branches were still connected to him, though.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. There you go. Finding an MCU plot hole. Now it doesn't work anymore. The whole thing. You broke it. You broke it. Thanks. I can't watch anymore.
I got to be that guy. Hey, check it out. Speaking of Avengers, this is on the news and rumors pile. And, of course, got to mention it beforehand. Potential spoilers.
There's actually some very serious potential for some serious spoilers here. And if you... Yeah, this could wreck some stuff. So you might want to skip about 10, 15 minutes.
All right. Heads up. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. Jumping into it. So, the Infinity War DVD revealed several minutes of interviews with the cast itself. Now, of note, there's an interview with RDJ, and it looks like he's in custom for his role as Tony Stark. He's a bit older. He's got blonde hair, a beard, a lot of gray in it. And honestly, this really lends to the whole thing we've seen built up for Avengers 4, that it's going to take place several years, detached from Infinity War. Also, it said that he and Pepper Potts are now married and have a child.
Yeah.
Big.
I actually had not heard much about Avengers 4 taking place in several years in the future.
Same.
And by the way, sorry for my horrible typos.
Oh no, I'm with him.
As we know, I can't read, but that's huge.
It is.
That's pretty huge. There's a little bit more on that though.
Yeah. There are also some notes that in the background for this, that and behind Robert Downey himself, set of the Shuri. Did I have that right? Shuri Tech Lab. In Shuri's Tech Lab, from Black Panther. I remember that. Infinity War. Now, this is leading some to believe that he's working with Shuri, right out of Wakanda, to undo Thanos' whole, kill half of everything in Avengers 3. So now, what a force that would be, I think there is a lot of credibility behind that, and I'm basing that off Doctor Strange. Whatever he saw of the one outcome, out of all the millions of possibilities he saw where they actually come out on top, he knows...
Over 14 million.
Thank you. Well done. Man, you're recent on this. I love it.
Those aren't very good odds.
No. Tony Stark is an absolute key in this. He knows this. And, I even look at some of the other material we had, like the animated versions. Tony Stark was an absolute cornerstone to eventually stopping Thanos and to helping reverse the effects of the gauntlet. So...
Right. So, it's something that was pointed out to me as well, that it's something that I thought was kind of temporary was, but now that the DVDs come out, there's more information coming out about stuff from Infinity War.
Yeah.
The damage that was done to both the Gauntlet and Thanos from the finger snap.
Mm-hmm.
Now you'd notice that there was, the Gauntlet was smoking.
Right.
It had taken some damage. It didn't look like it was permanent though. It still looked like it was very much intact. But
right.
And actually, you notice at the very end that Thanos is limping. In fact, he's having a hard time walking to his chair at the very end. I guess I never thought of that before because in the Infinity Gauntlet comics, I'd never noticed him take any significant damage from using the gauntlet.
Right.
There was a question of whether even the gauntlet still works.
Which totally legit.
Yeah. So there's all that, but getting back to the stuff with Tony Stark. So quite honestly, this is how I think this goes at this point. They've spent years now trying to undo what had happened. And I think it's going to be interesting. We're going to see a world, if this is true, we're going to see a world post Thanos and how the Earth is and how these superheroes are past all that. And I'm probably going to guess that most of them are pretty damn unhappy.
Yeah.
That being said, we're probably going to see in a lot of ways a world that is better off. I think they're going to continue to be kind of controversial with this. A lot of people like to delve into the theory of, well, Thanos might be right. No, he's not right. but obviously, if you've got to split food and one half of the people that you had to split it with is gone, then everyone's eating a lot better. That's just math.
Right.
So, and I think it'll be interesting for them to delve into that. And then I think an opportunity. I think at some point Ant-Man's going to finally show up. He's going to get caught up with what's going on. We're going to catch him. You caught him at the end, Batman and the Wasp, and that's going to be right where he starts. He finally gets out of the quantum realm.
Yeah, man, he is tangled in a bad situation. I'm just wondering who would get there to get him out of that or figure that out. I mean,
I think Tony Stark and Shuri are the ones that are going to create these devices that are going to help him control what he can do in the quantum realm and take some other people with him. I think it all starts from there.
Yeah,
and I think some of the Avengers, like Tony Stark, who's married now and has a kid, is going to be conflicted with actually saying, well, let's undo everything that's happened because he's married, he's got a kid now, and I think ultimately it's going to happen because there's rumors saying that the end of Avengers 4 takes you right back to that fight in Wakanda.
Wow.
Except for now, they're strong. The Avengers are stronger. They're more united. They know what the fight is against. It's going to happen pre-snap. And I think what's going to happen, and this is Tony's going to survive this, as I've been saying. He's going to retire because he knows that he has a life after this. That he gets married, he has a kid. Right. He's going to be done. He's going to continue to finance the Avengers, but he's going to be done. I also think the Accords is going to be gone.
Yeah, man. This is a galactic, a universal level event. I mean, that has affected the entire world, and if everybody does not see the necessity, or not just the Avengers and those are the metahuman or superpowered class, I can't think of a better example. There's some too much property damage, whatever else.
This would make a little bit more sense to what they're doing with Hawkeye as well, because Hawkeye doesn't go by Hawkeye in Avengers 4. He goes by Ronin, and I don't remember this in the comics, but at some point he goes by the name Ronin. He's a much darker character than he was, or than he usually is. And I think that's because, and some people are saying, his whole family gets dusted. Well, and so that would make sense because he's had to spend these years without his family.
And that whole concept, I mean, the name Ronin, Masterless Samurai, I mean, I can't think anything better to point at that. Real quick about the Gauntlet and its current state, usability. Maybe I don't know if it's just limited to minimal function at this point or if it had just enough power, but it's important to highlight that it did have enough to get Thanos out of Wakanda. What is that? The space stone that he was using to warp himself around? Can't remember which one.
Yeah, that's the space stone.
He did.
That's the blue one.
Exactly. Just the fact that he had enough wherewithal to trigger that again and get where he needed to go.
Well, not to mention it not only took him off Earth, it took him back to Titan, which was a now much healthier Titan, than what we had seen. Which is also kind of funny because isn't that where we left Nebula and Tony Stark?
Yeah, it is. It is. And see, and at first, I actually didn't know that. I didn't paint that as Titan because I thought.
No, I wasn't sure it was either, but something came out since the movie that is Titan.
Okay, that clears up a lot of things. I thought that was just a nondescript planet that he ended up on, but
I could be wrong.
Wow,
could be wrong. It's all speculation. I mean, you collect what tidbits of actual factual information that you can, but sometimes that's completely off too.
Right.
We didn't see Silver Surfer in there now, did we? And we were pretty much all but told that he was going to be in there.
Right.
But if this holds true, I think it's a really interesting way to go about it. I'm liking it.
Definitely.
I think to be honest with you, the concept of a post Thanos kills half of everything world, and what even seeing that beyond something on the background while the Avengers try to hurry the heck up and fix this. I think that's really interesting. I think that's going to be a great way to go. Makes a bit more sense as to why we're going to be seeing some upgraded stuff. We've been seeing some concept art.
Exactly.
An upgraded War Machine, a potential Hulk suit that doesn't rip into shreds and turns into the Hulk. So this is interesting. This is pretty cool.
Like it. I'm liking it. Cool, man. All right, I'm just spinning away from the superhero front for a minute, looking at James Bond. As you know, James Bond 25 has been in production, and this is the one that's billed to be Daniel Craig's final James Bond film, although I thought the last one should have been the last one. But hey, I don't know, maybe I'm just...
That's what he said that then, too.
In fact, this is the very guy that was cited, I think, what was it, like in 2015, saying he'd rather, cut his own wrist
Yeah,
dude.
he's been annoyed with making a bunch of money for a long time.
Yeah, that sucks, right? But no, hey, check it out. I mean, the director, he's left. He's left this production. He cited creative differences during the filming. This got announced by the studio and production staff a little earlier this week. The production was supposed to kick up in December, and this had a November 2019 release. But ouch.
I suppose it still could.
Still could.
They're gonna have to find somebody quick. Danny Boyle is the director. I guess that this was shocking because even though he doesn't do franchises, I guess he intentionally steers away from them. He's a huge Bond fan.
Right.
So I wonder what it was. I wonder if we'll ever find out what was the creative differences.
I'm curious. And for what it's worth, I thought he's with what he's had. I thought he's done a solid job. Although my biggest thing with Daniel Craig is Bond. This is the craziest Bond I've ever seen. It's just he's more of like a parkour.
Did you say this is your favorite Bond?
No, I said this is the craziest Bond.
Oh, okay.
That I've seen. It's just the way he goes all out parkour, like hardcore action, rather than doing a kind of smooth, super sleuth way of solving a situation or stopping somebody. That's known for James Bond. That constantly throws me off. So
no, it's not right.
No,
and, I'm not very interested in James Bond anymore. I haven't been for a while.
Yeah.
And that's because of that. I get it. The studio was like, "Look, we're dying here. We gotta change some stuff here, or the James Bond franchise isn't going to exist anymore." So I get why they had to do that, and they've had to do this in the past. There were some James Bond movies that took huge leaps in space technology to try to keep up with a lot of the sci-fi movies of the 80s.
Right.
This is not new. They've had to do this in the past, but I think it's actually time, and I think a lot of people are probably in the next year or so going to be ready to do some more, see some more cerebral kind of movies, and get back to some basics for James Bond. And I think Daniel Craig would probably like doing a movie like that.
Right.
Considering he doesn't. Yeah, he's a weird one though.
Yeah, he
overall,
is.
But. There's been some stories, but
whatever. Fair enough.
Whatever. I don't care though.
I'm not. I don't have that.
It's interesting. It hit. This happened this weekend. It's like, oh my god! It's like, all right, we'll talk about it because some people care. I don't. I love the old Bond movies more than anything.
Of course.
But these new ones, they're good. There's some good ones, but I'm just, all right, fix it. That's where I'm at. Same thing with the Worlds of DC. All right, that's fine. Okay, that's good. Go fix it.
Fix it. Now, you're talking. It's funny you say fix it because I think we're talking about the biggest, thing that's in need of fixing right now. I'm looking. I'm looking square.
I tried fixing this on the last show. If they didn't listen, then that's just too bad.
You did your best. Hey, listen, look, Disney, everybody. The solution is on our last episode. Please jump back. Jagged Edge.
They're not.
I know.
Yeah, they're not even doing it.
Hey, listen, I tried.
Yeah, there's actually they came out with the Mark Hamill had was talking about a conversation he had with J.J. Abrams about Luke Skywalker, and J.J. Abrams is like, "No, you're dead."
Oh.
Now that being said, J.J. Abrams has a way of straight out lying if he has to misdirect. So we'll see, though. I'm pretty sure we'll see Luke alive in a flashback, but he's going to be a Force ghost besides, and that's all right. Hey, I enjoyed the Star Wars franchise for the most part.
Hey, no,
I think I enjoyed it a lot more than Disney did because they're going to end up losing it. And they're going to tank the damn thing. But, I enjoyed it while it was good, even sometimes when it wasn't so good.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about that right now.
That goes right in the form of the Star Wars Resistance trailer. This is a brand new series that we're going to have airing on,
Disney. It's on Disney XD.
Disney. Yeah.
It's like a section of when they show cartoons. It's on Disney Channel.
And this is billed as sort of basically a CG animated series, effectively about kind of pseudo.
It was billed initially. If we talked about this, they had said that the new show was going to have an anime style, You remember when we talked about that?
Yeah. Looking at this, here's where I frame this. Hey, have you ever seen Ruby?
No.
Monty Oum's it's a Rooster Teeth series. It's really his brainchild that's continued to run after his death. His God rest his soul. His production team and everyone, they've kept it going. It's still a really successful series, but it has a similar style with that. It has like a kind of like anime-esque direction, but it uses a lot of 3D and things like that in it.
So I mean, I was not expecting it. In fact, I remember our conversation about this in the past, that I was really confused when they announced that this is going to have a heavy anime inspiration and style to it.
Yeah,
I really don't think that's what we got.
No.
In fact, when I saw this trailer, and we'll talk about more about the trailer in a second. When I saw this trailer, the first similar cartoon that popped in my head was Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yep.
And it looks eerily similar to that, actually. I wasn't a big fan of that. That was an early 2000s Spider-Man show. I think it was around for 2 seasons. It was him in college. It came out... I don't think it was supposed to be the same canon as the later 90s cartoon.
Right.
But it kind of played with that. It's, I think, more of a soft reboot than anything. Mm-hmm. But it was him in college, and I wasn't a big fan of it. And fine, it was whatever. I think it was on MTV or something. I don't know. It was around for a couple of years though. Very similar style. Here's the thing. This is the funny thing about Star Wars cartoons. And by the way, if it's not obvious to you, everybody hates this.
Yeah. Just a comment. It's few times you run across this many dislikes. I think right now it's standing at 80K dislikes.
Is it 80K? When I looked 2 years, when I looked 2 days ago, it was 70K.
That's 80K.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody hates this. I'm not a big fan of this. I think this looks like crap. Now, that being said, everybody said that about Rebels.
Yep.
And then most people liked Rebels. And I'm sorry, because if you listen, I bitch about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Everyone said this about Clone Wars too. I'll be fair.
Did they?
Yes. Everybody hated Clone Wars at first too. Okay, so there is a history of this. When they premiere their show initially, everybody hates it. Okay. Now, that being said, this is definitely going towards an even younger audience.
It is.
Where Clone Wars was going, it was going for a younger audience, but they learned, oh, hey, you know what? Actually, the majority of our fans are people who are adults, teenage and higher, and then they geared the show towards that.
Right.
And fantastic. The first couple seasons are okay, but the later seasons of Clone Wars were just the best. Rebels stayed more into the vine of a tween to teen audience and up.
Right.
There was some great. I've shown you several moments from Rebels,
which were awesome.
There are some great moments. It's a little tougher to deal with, but overall, it was a really good show. Overall, I'm a fan. This looks to be going, and they've even said they're going for an even younger audience. I think they're actually going for 8 to 10 and up.
Holy cow!
They want to build that young fan base again, because they haven't figured out that you can keep the current fan base, but they've at least realized that a lot of that fan base came from 30 years ago,
right? And
so they're trying to build it. They still haven't quite figured out they've got part of the recipe, but they haven't figured out the recipe yet. This looks like look. And I'm not going to... No, I'll say it looks like shit, because it does look like shit. But it could entirely surprise us, just as Clone Wars did.
Right.
And just as Rebels did. And I'll give it a shot. In fact, before we started recording, I told him, look, I'm going to review this show.
Right.
I'll do it alone. I won't put anyone else through it in case it actually is horrible. There's some differences here, though. This is the least unattractive style that they've had for any of the cartoons. Now, and I had shown you the fan made TIE Fighter video.
Oh yeah,
which is an anime style. Now, I didn't think it was going to look like that. I thought it was going to look something like that. No, we're way off base.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't see anime style here. I really don't. Do you?
No.
I really don't. And that's they were really pushing that. I remember, is it going to be anime style this time around? I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay, we'll go with that. And no, it's not. But I mean, the whole story. A lot of people aren't buying into this. I think the big difference right now, though, is that Clone Wars and Rebels was based on older Star Wars mythology,
right,
and canon. Right. This is based on the stuff that people aren't buying so much.
And I think you make the key comment. That was the thing I was most concerned about. Seeing this, you go from something that was steeped in lore to something that is really sort of trying to create its own base, but in the same hand, it's this loose concept of ace fighters, and obviously a group that we have not been steeped in. Was that Poe, by the way?
Yeah, Poe is going to be a big part of the show.
Yeah, I mean, you have Poe and everything like that, but those types of really strong roots surrounding it. There's, those grounds.
In fact, the focus, if they continued off of what had been said leading up to this point, was that a lot of this is going to be focused on X-wing pilots,
right?
And pilots as a whole. It's going to be very pilot based. A lot of races, lots of space flight, lots of dogfighting. It's going to be it's pre-Force Awakens, so it's Poe and the Resistance against Phasma and the First Order.
There you go.
So yeah, there's some interesting elements here. Mainly right now, the only thing really pulling me in is that Poe and BB-8's okay, whatever.
Right.
And he's no R2D2, but despite what they're trying, but he's fine.
BB-8's BB-8.
Yeah, he's all right. I'll watch it. Maybe it'll do what the other two did, because Dave Filoni is still heading up this division of Star Wars, and so maybe now that being said, it has been openly said, and he has said this himself, that he is not involved in the day-to-day as he was in the past ones.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's not good to come up with a disclaimer right off the bat.
No.
But we'll see. It's kind of like I say for some of our movie reviews, I'm gonna laugh, whether it's a good laugh or a bad laugh. I don't know, but I'll be laughing.
You get
one way or the other.
You get a salute from me for that, man. Best.
So, yay!
Hey, good luck to you.
I hope it does what the other two have, which is that, oh my god, just going into it like, I'm gonna hate this, and then it's like, actually, you know what, this is pretty good.
Right.
Pretty good. I don't think so, but we'll see.
There you have it. All right. Well, on the gaming side of things, we have had a bunch of events.
Whoa!
What am I jumping over?
Yeah, I got a lot more Star Wars.
I thought that link was all one. My bad.
No. So, did you look at those photos?
The Chewbacca and Boyega?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go into those. Sure, go for it. Yeah, I did look at them. But...
So I got some more Star Wars news. So you go ahead. I'm gonna talk about something else while you're looking at those. Then.
Okay.
He's gonna look at the leaked photos. He didn't look at them yet. So some news that has come out in the last couple of weeks, Star Wars related. There was some pre-production information that came out about a spin-off movie. This might have been the Obi-Wan movie. It might not have.
Right.
They did not say for sure which one it was, but it was definitely a whole bunch of pre-production stuff about Tatooine. This movie has been canned. It is done. It will not happen. Whatever it was. But that's a thing. A lot of people are thinking maybe that was the Obi-Wan movie, though. There's still been no word on that definitively. They never actually did come out and officially announce it. It was all but announced. Some people are hoping, and some are saying that they're hearing that this movie's still happening. I honestly hope it's not.
Right.
I want to change of the guard before this movie happens. It's like, it's funny because it's Solo tanked, and people it's people who are still Star Wars followers who are very happy with the current product. They're like, thanks a lot, guys. Now we're not going to get all the other spin-offs. And it's like, no, that was the point. That was actually the point.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
You're not. Don't be sarcastic and say thank you. I will be genuine and say you're welcome. So.
I've done you a service.
That's right. There was some news that came out that J.J. Abrams, even though he will not rewrite Luke into the movie, as far as we are hearing, he will rewrite the film to add Lando, who apparently was not actually in Episode 9 initially.
Whoa!
But yeah, he's been he was added into the script. He's going, if what I'm hearing is true, he'll be along with Maz Kanata. on her her pirate spaceship, her Spire ship.
Pirate.
In fact, that's a good word. I'm going to keep it.
Spire.
That's right. That's right. Not even backpedaling on that. I'm moving forward on her Spire ship. Patent pending. Okay, so let's talk about those photos. So there's 2 sets of leaked photos that came out. One, I couldn't find any good ones for you, so I'm just going to tell you about it. It's the Millennium Falcon in a big forest. It actually looks like it could be Endor. Yeah. No confirmation to that. But that's interesting. But here we have these leaked photos of Chewbacca and Poe and Finn all together on some shaggy horses. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you think?
There's not a whole lot to glean from this. Honestly, I don't think this is a killer moment. X and X is leaked. Now, there's someone I'm really curious about. I think it was with like the third set. Who is that? Who is that with? Like,
oh my gosh!
What? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have it open.
Okay.
I looked at him earlier. I don't have it open. So there are other people, but those are obviously the recognizable ones.
I'm just curious, just character wise. Big frizzy hairdo. I can't pin that. I'm not sure who that is. I mean, I would make a big deal out of it, except they actually seem to be appearing like on set in costume. I mean,
are you sure you're not just talking about one of those shaggy horses?
Positive.
Okay. You said the third set?
Yeah. If you go almost all the way down. I can
shaggy hair, dude. Are you sure you're not talking about Chewbacca?
I mean, well, he does have a.
He's the guy underneath the umbrella is Chewbacca.
He has a shaggy hair.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I see. Okay, the fro hair.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder who that is.
You waited for that.
Yep. I said it's. I was literally thinking either he has no idea or there's some Star Wars stuff I'm just missing here. So.
Well, part of what's interesting though is that this kind of environment looks very similar to Lothal. Lothal is the planet that had a lot to do with rebels.
See, there you go. I need you give me something.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a bunch of grass, so it could be anything really.
But
I mean, all these different environments where you have the snow planet, and you have the jungle planet, and you have the grassy planet, and you have you have the sand planet. That could be anything because we have all those planets on our one planet.
Yeah.
So it could be anywhere. It could be anything really. Probably not the snow planet.
No.
But yeah, yes, I know the names of the actual planets. I'm just having some fun.
But no, that was my only question.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Now, going more into this is going to be some major spoilers. Up until this point, we haven't really been talking about some spoilers. This could be some major Star Wars spoilers. A lot of people think that a very accurate first act of the movie has been released. So, yeah, big time spoilers on this. By the way, I think we mentioned this once before. This movie is pushing the 3-hour mark.
Right.
At this point, it's going to be the longest one, and yeah, I think Last Jedi was 246. So we're looking at probably 3 hours of a movie. Boy, it better not suck. 3 hours.
That's a lot of movie.
We already went through 2 hours and 46 minutes of that. We don't need to go through another 3. Okay. So I'm not gonna go into too much. If you want to hear more details, you want to see more details, you can find it online. But basically, what's going on is it has been, I think, 4 or 5 years since The Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. And what has happened is that from there, those handful of rebels that were left, they all basically went into teams and split up, and they all went to different places throughout the galaxy, trying to recruit people into the Resistance. As you saw in The Last Jedi, they didn't have a lot of luck with the current authoritarian people. They made the call out to the rest of the Resistance, the rest of the New Republic, and no one answered. So I guess a lot of this is that they're going to gangsters. They're going to gangsters. They're going to hoodlums. They're going to people and their shenanigans, and they're going to droids. So this is going to be like a serious, like bounty hunters and and a lot of shady people. And the first act of the movie is in large part them with the forces they've gathered over the last few years and getting them all together and getting this resistance ready for a strong push of some sort. And that's, I guess, is similar. And we're seeing a lot of things. There's been rumors that Episode 9 is going to hit on more planets than any other one in the past. This could be a lot of what we're hearing about them bringing all of the movies together into one big finale.
Sure.
Also, there's been a lot of rumors about the Hutts being in this movie. So that's kind of where the whole gangster thing is going and stuff. And there's been some scenes that were potentially leaked about all that. Again, none of this is confirmed, but there's a lot of different sources talking about this, and this seems pretty legit. This seems I think that has to do with what we're seeing here.
Neat.
It's nice to see Chewbacca, isn't it?
It is.
The whole 30 seconds we got of him in The Last Jedi.
He was like hardly there.
No, it was ridiculous. I mean, how part of how you screw up The Last Jedi, you kill Admiral Akbar off screen. You take characters like R2-D2, C-3PO, and Chewbacca, and you do nothing with them. I mean, seriously, you could make a successful movie with those three just like sitting around on the Millennium Falcon while they're traveling from one place to another. Just 90 minutes of that is $1 billion. Right. You could do a 90-minute thing about Chewbacca and C-3PO just hanging out in the back of the Millennium Falcon, traveling from one planet to the next, and the shenanigans that come with them and R2-D2. That's $1 billion. That's $1 billion. How do you screw that up? You do nothing with them.
Enough said. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
I don't know about you, man. I got to think about some gaming to douse myself in.
That's a bunch. Yeah, so that's a bunch of Star Wars stuff. There it is. There's your. I should almost make a segment out of this at this point.
Almost.
Yeah. Chris and his Star Wars stuff. Maybe a better title.
Oh man. Alrighty. Gamescom. This past week. It was. In fact, this is right now as we're talking. Right here, Saturday the 25th. This is the very last day of it. This is over in Germany, Cologne, Germany. There was really a ton of games that we had debuted at E3. A lot of the things that weren't too solidified there got solidified here. We had a lot of gameplay demos, a lot of additional trailers, a lot of release dates nailed down. Of course, more footage from some of the big favorites from E3, Smash Bros. Ultimate, Fallout 76, Battlefield 5, Cyberpunk 2077, even from some that didn't have as big a presence on the show floor that people were looking out for, like Ace Combat 5. But some of the ones I want to zoom in on, the Resident Evil 2 remake had some really fun gameplay from that. I know, Chris, you took a look at that and said there's something you kind of wished was a little later.
Yeah. Okay, so I couldn't remember his name at the time. William Birkin.
Yeah.
The main scientist in Resident Evil 2, who, I'm sorry, if I'm spoiling Resident Evil 2 for you, then too bad. The guy who injects himself with the virus once the shit hits the fan, he gets shot, so he injects himself with it. They showed him. Like, boom, there's William Birkin. I mean, that's one of the craziest things that happens in that game. I was a little surprised when looking over at this footage that they would show that. I'm surprised that it is not something that they would keep for the release. There he is. And one of he has a few different transformations, but there he was. Very surprised to see that. I was very disappointed. I think that's something that they should have held off on.
Yeah.
But there he was in all his "that's a nasty giant eye in your arm" glory. All of his Soul Calibur glory.
This Nightmare and much. Sheesh. This remake is
in his defense. Actually, I don't know which one came first. That's what I'm going to look at while you're talking. Which one came out first, Soul Calibur or Resident Evil 2?
I want to say
I'm going to say Resident Evil 2.
Interesting. Soul. You don't think Soul Edge beat it to the punch, huh?
Nope.
Probably right. But yeah, this looking like a great, not even expansion. This is a fantastic looking remake. Everything from the over-the-shoulder camera, the classic RE2 vibes to just the environment feel right. Resident Evil 2 is one of the early PlayStation games I was exposed to. I had a couple friends who were really into it. I never went through this one myself. I've always had a respect for the series though, so looking faithful, looking solid. I like.
All right. Okay, so are we? A couple questions here. So this is again the question: which one came out first?
Yep.
Resident Evil 2 or Soul Calibur? All right. I will say this.
Okay.
They both come out in the same year.
Ah.
All right. They both come out in the months that start with J.
That's tricky.
So now my question to you is, which one came out first? I'm saying Resident Evil 2 came out first.
Well,
sticking with that, even though I have the facts in front of me now.
Well, here, okay. When you say Soul Calibur, do you mean Soul Edge, the very beginning of the series?
No.
Do you mean when? Okay.
Soul Calibur.
Huh. I'm gonna say SC.
Because Soul Edge, I don't think they had much of the whole eye thing going on in the first Soul Blade movie or Soul Blade game.
Right.
I mean, it had all kinds of different shapes and stuff. You're saying Soul Calibur came out?
Yeah.
You are wrong.
That's that.
I was surprised about that too. Although initially I was thinking Resident Evil 2 did come out first, and then I'm like, oh, maybe not.
Wow.
Resident Evil 2 came out January 21st, 1998. Soul Calibur came out July 30th, 1998.
Good year.
But it was a good year. It was a damn good year. But I mean, that's so close to production. I don't think anyone copied anyone.
No, you can't say that then. Okay.
I mean, that's so close. They were probably both in production. Unless I'm forgetting something in Soul Blade, I just don't remember any of those blades, having such a nasty protruding eye like that.
No.
I really don't think so.
No, that's all Nightmare's signature, man. For most of what I know. Well, not just Nightmare. That's the whole, the main blade they're after.
Yeah, but he showed up at the end too, though.
He did.
He was. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't wrong about the release, though.
Here's what I hope. When SC6 is here and we have it in our hands, that it has a sort of theater mode like Tekken 7 has done. That it really allows you to effectively go all the way back to the first Tekken and look at endings, kind of tie some stories and stuff together. I love that. Great feature.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's going to have some kind of huge storytelling mode, so...
We'll see.
Yeah.
They were reciting that a bunch at E3. The story of I say E3, Evo. The story of Swords and Souls, and I'll leave it at that because I don't know the rest. So,
eternally retold.
Thank you. There you have it.
I heard this week that I don't remember this character from the Soul Calibur series, but Terra is going to be one of their first DLCs.
I don't remember her.
I don't remember her either. Anyway, so that's news.
Cool.
Yeah, Terra, yay, I guess. Also more, characters, at least at launch, will not have alternate costumes.
Huh.
That's actually kind of interesting, but they said that you can alter their current costumes. So.
I mean, Soul Calibur really has one of the premier engines for character customization. People love this stuff. Like, in fact, a pretty memorable one. I've seen probably everything from Dragon Ball to you name the series. Someone's built it in Soul Calibur design. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen some of those.
It's crazy.
Some of them don't look so good, but
right.
Some of them look great.
Right. Cool. On to one that's not on the survival horror lines. I'm looking at the ARPG lines. That's Biomutant. Now, this got way pushed back. This game was already supposed to be out. In fact, it was supposed to be pushed out this month, 22nd, so this past week. But this got moved back to summer 2019. We don't know the reason why there's such a huge delay yet. Expecting to hear more from the dev team themselves in this. But this is a big old open world ARPG. What a lot of people are billing as Rocket Raccoon the game, which is pretty much what it looks like. So your different choices have impacts on the type of route you progress through. There's some huge monster battles that might remind you, slightly reminiscent of something like Shadow of the Colossus and all that. But this is a fun one. This is one that wasn't on my radar a whole lot. Diablo is what brought me into ARPGs, and I think time is really the only thing that keeps me from jumping into more of those these days. I try to keep up my gaming edge, but it's not the easiest thing always. So, But yeah, I'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on that. Not too sure where that's going to go. Really expecting to hear the reason for that delay because literally that's an entire year. Most of the time at this stage, that would be like maybe a couple months pushback. So don't know the story there.
Yeah, this looks awesome.
It does. It does. Like, I think the only thing you're missing is like the crazy Rocket Raccoon style guns, but there's enough weapons from what I'm seeing. So
yeah, this is kind of yeah,
cool.
It's got a much better style, I'd say overall, but it's got kind of a Ratchet and Clank kind of techie feel to it.
Yeah, it does. So cool. We'll see where it goes. There's another one I know you've been following, Dying Light 2. That is still locked in for TBA 2019, but we did get some multiplayer details in that. Including yourself, there will be up to 4 players allowed for the co-op mode. Everybody's choices are going to impact what different areas unlock, how the rest of the co-op mode unfolds, things you can do. So it's going to have a very interactive campaign, I guess, in that regard. Now, there's supposed to be another multiplayer element. We don't know exactly what's involved in that, though. They're keeping pretty tight-lipped about it, but that's on purpose. We'll see. I don't know.
What is up with zombie games giving you 4-player co-op mode? That Resident Evil game, that's or not Resident Evil game. That Walking Dead game, that's doing that 4-player co-op.
Yeah.
That World War Z game, same thing, 4-player co-op.
Yep.
What's the deal?
You got to work together to beat the zombies, man.
No, I agree. Why can't it? Why is it 4? Why is it not 2? Why is it not 5? Why is it 4? I mean, the days have long since passed of the one friend having the 4 controller peripheral that you plug into the system and then you play 4.
Exactly.
You don't need to do that.
No.
Anymore.
No.
There's a thing called the internet. No, whatever. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Dying Light 1.
Yeah.
But Dying Light 2 looks really good too.
No, it does. It does. Especially the World War Z style zombie hordes. That's still unnerving, but just awesome looking. So, another one that really was just off radar for me, Call of Cthulhu. This is based off the adaptation from the 80s tabletop game. This is going to be on its way out this year, October 30th. There was a trailer for this shown at E3. We really didn't get much gameplay. We're here at Gamescom, did just that. We saw directly into this. This is what I like to call a whodunit. You play as a private eye trying to solve the mystery of an immolation of a family mansion, and at the same time trying to avoid getting dragged into some crazy current of madness or whatever the jinx of this whole place is. So, yeah. The big news though comes in the form of Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. This is from Software's newest one. I guess it wasn't the biggest news of the show, but still. The reason I like to highlight this is because they did release the details of their collector's edition. This is going to hit March 22nd, PS4, Xbone, and PC. For that collector's edition, you get the full game, a limited edition steelbook, a 7-inch statue, these are weird. Sengoku era game coins. You get a couple of those. Okay. And then an art book and an OST, like you'd expect with any any full collector's edition or full pack.
Yeah, this sounds like a very basic bitch collector's edition.
It's not anything that really, really stands out. But, hey, thematically, everyone was billing this as Bloodborne or Dark Souls Reborn. And I think From have been doing their best to sort of bill this away from that this isn't just the next extension of Dark Souls. For those of you who haven't been watching, this is based in the 1500s. It's a feudal samurai story about a protagonist who gets cut down. You're dead earlier on in the game, but by some odd force, you're given a second shot. Oh, you got your arm chopped off too, but you're given another arm too. And you come back to avenge who killed you and who killed all your masters.
Wait. Okay, so he dies.
Yep.
Does he lose his arm after he comes back, or did he die because he lost his arm?
No, he got his arm cut off in the process of dying.
Okay, so he comes back, but he's still missing an arm.
And
does he get a robot arm? Does he get like a steampunk arm?
He gets a crazy arm. It's more than a robot arm. It's this freaky stitched together like
it's a Frankenstein arm?
It's like this weird Frankenstein arm, but it's got mystical powers behind it. It's crazy.
It's like a Frankenstein demon arm.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. It's awesome.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. And gameplay-wise, it's actually got some lot of attention lately because this is just a genre that I think From's been rocking out at pretty hard since.
What genre is this? I mean, if it's not supposed to be like, because I remember you talking about this during E3 a little bit, but
yeah.
So if it's not supposed to be like Bloodborne, then what is it?
Well, here's the thing. I think it's still, you can build this as action adventure still, or like, I can't even say necessarily action slasher. It fits the genre, but I think what they're trying to say is it's outside of just that same theme. Like, Dark Souls was medieval European.
Right. This is Asian Renaissance.
Exactly. Okay. So we're looking 1500s. So thematically, expecting that to be different. I mean, there's so much you can do with camera angles and stuff like that, but they're supposed to play at like completely different beasts. So.
Okay, so instead of armor and swords and medieval, it's samurai and swords.
I knew you'd say that.
Well, I mean, whatever.
Right.
From Software has a history of taking what it's making money with and just milking the shit out of it. And hey, that's fine.
They do.
That's fine.
I think here's the other thing they're milking too. People love the challenge level.
I thought I was going to make a joke about the genre being the torture your player based genre.
Yep. And it's apparently they're shooting for at least the word has been about this, that this should be tougher than some things in Dark Souls, which would be sadistic. If you ask me, I mean this is going to be hitting like Ninja Gaiden levels or Battletoads at some point. So.
Yeah, man. By the time you buy this game, by the time you're done with it, you're gonna need your own Frankenstein demon hand because you will have destroyed your hand in the process.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So
this game should come with in the collector's edition a free demon Frankenstein hand. It comes in a jar.
Here, wear this.
What you'll just a note on it says, "Put this on. You'll know when you should."
And I think the best part about it is it's in your face. I think that some of the people who got in on gameplay of this, I think about every beat I saw was literally immediate boss they run into, and then got like death comes up on your screen. It's just like this huge red character, and then underneath in English, death. Do it again. Yeah, it's going to be a mean game. So,
you know what? Because we have a bone to pick with From.
Yes,
but not kinda we do, kinda we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, to be quite honest, to run with a series as long as we were able to run with at the same time, that's not a bad thing. But they really took something they had and ruined it.
Yeah.
Good on them though. You know what? They've been able to have a successful franchise beyond Armored Core, which quite honestly has brought them more money and fame than they ever got from that.
This is true.
Unless you're going back to the PS1 days, where actually Armored Core PS1 and early PS2 was pretty popular. That was a long time ago, though.
It was.
So they've been able to move past it, and good on them, and hopefully they can do another one again. Good on them. Yeah. Whatever. I'm not looking to you for Armored Core anymore, anyways. I think we might have somebody else.
Same here.
So,
hey, on shooters, you pointed this one out to me a couple of shows ago. We talked a bit about it. We were talking about Quakecon, but we also got some features on Doom Eternal as well. Let me look at Quake first. So about Quake Champions, that is going to remain free to play permanently. The starter and the champion packs, they are going to continue to be able to pay. The game itself, it's going to stay F2P. There's also an announcement about a new edition of a Death Knight to the cast of characters that you can choose from with more stuff coming in the future for that. So that's slick, man. I mean, the last time I was into Quake was Quake 2.
So you never played Quake 3 Arena?
No, man.
Oh, okay.
Sure didn't.
You missed out. It was fun. If I ever got to hankering, I would have to look between this one and I know Unreal has been working on a free-to-play as well, and I haven't looked into that in a while. I started with Quake. Well, actually, I started with Doom. But I started, really when you start getting competitive stuff, you start with Quake because Doom only had 1v1 really. And,
right.
But I got Quake 3 Arena and I loved playing that. It was nuts. Looking at this, it's the same Vine basically. It's like, hey, this is Quake 3 Arena except for it's Quake Champions and it's free and it's everything you loved out of Quake 3. It's good out of they're trying with a different model here. I mean, Bethesda always does. They're actually very traditional with a lot of their games, but they're trying something else here with a franchise that really hasn't been doing a heck of a lot.
Yeah.
Other than this, which is that's fine. If I ever got the hankering to get myself into some crazy first person shooter, turbo speed killing, I'd probably check this out.
Here's your pick.
It looked really good. It looked really good. I mean, we've talked about this in the past. You and I definitely talked about this off the show a lot, but we've talked about this during the show as well about first-person shooters.
Yeah.
And console shooters versus what I like to call real first-person shooters. And, hey, that's great that people make a lot of money off the console stuff. Really, that is. You need to put a keyboard and a mouse in their hands.
Agreed.
And just watch them get just pummeled to dust.
The WASD classic play will drive people into the ground, hands down. It's just, I think back to the old days of, Counter-Strike Source and, the people who ran and the Cal-L groups and all. Yeah, Cal-M rather. But crazy.
Yeah, I took my lickings, I took my beatings getting into that. I actually got pretty good at one point. I wouldn't say I was top tier. I'd say I was a tier below. I got pretty good, which almost is enough to me to say, I don't know if I want to go through that again.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I did play those games, when I played Quake 3, when I played Unreal, it was great. It was great.
It's awesome.
I look for a little bit more out of my games now. But if I just wanted some dumb first-person shooter, blow them up, that I would go to one of those two again. And I'm glad to see that they're both offering things again.
I think the only group you can go to that's scarier, skill-wise, is the fighting game community. That's speed chess and steroids. That's madness.
Dude, they're nuts now. I mean, I could never. I could never do that now. I mean, they sit there and they study frame by frame, and. I played, and when I was at tournament level, it was an instinct thing.
Right.
I wouldn't even want to do that. I don't want to sit there and study frame by frame. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No.
Love it. All right. Other than that, man, hey, it's time for an info minute.
Oh no, it's not. We're not even reversing. You skipped Doom.
I did. Oh Lord, can't do that.
That's all right.
Doom Eternal. Gameplay got revealed for that. This has been super anticipated since E3. Now, this was a pretty long demo. We got about 20 minutes or so.
20 minutes, yeah.
All about gameplay, new weapons, new mechanics, the redesigns of a bunch of the demons and everything else. And what's sweet is when you blow those shotgun holes, in demons, you're going to see it. There's actual visible damage and everything. Really cool updates to a lot of the weapons. The Doomslayer himself getting a brand new suit armed with this sweet retractable blade. I know I was thinking about this during those wall climbing segments, which just look sick. This is going to be very story driven, way in line with this 2016 reboot, and this is going to go really in depth story and the behind the events in the games too. Sweet.
This looks so awesome. I had to change my pants. It was. I love me some Doom. I mentioned it here. I actually started with Doom. I'm old enough to where it's I was around when Doom came out. I was there when computers were wow, every computer has Doom, which was actually not only the truth, it was factual. More computers had Doom than Windows, and it's So when the 2016 one came out, I love it. This was one of the biggest things. I had no idea they were announcing something at E3, but I remember when you came back with your news on it, and I was like, oh, okay, that is completely appropriate, because I was starting to wonder what they were going to do next. I can't wait. Unfortunately, I have to wait. In fact, I don't even know how long I have to wait. There is no announcement for release. But this looks so good. This is like, I worry when games get remade sometimes, and I was worried about Doom getting remade, but this is this new version of Doom is perfect. Yes. That's right, just yes.
I'll leave it on that. Hey, real quick, you really need to turn into Games Done Quick summer of each year, because there is always a speed run of the old Doom games. I think you'd love those.
Oh my god, I can't see that. Would depress me though. That would depress me to see how quick somebody can do something that I take so long to do.
But that should be awesome. It's
one of these days. Not today. I'll tell the Doom story. I've told you the Doom story.
You have
with my friend and I.
Yeah, you did.
I'll tell that someday. Not today though.
All right.
But I'll tell the Doom story because that is the perfect run through Doom story.
Love it. Alrighty, man. Let's hit the info minute. Alright. Chris, what's the most random material you could think of a knife being made out of?
Peanut butter.
That's pretty random. I'll give that to you.
No, if I was being realistic, I don't know. I always thought like shivs were kind of crazy, that people were turning like their toothbrush into a knife. I know that's not the nicest topic, but seriously, I always thought that was like, man, you've got to really be desperate to cause some damage to sharpen your toothbrush. So plastic. Let's say plastic.
Plastic. Fair enough. People can get inventive, and this. From what I saw here, this took it to a new level. Boxer shorts, coming knives.
What?
This, I kid you not. This is from a Japanese knife craftsman who has this. I can't even call it a trick. This smithing technique he's done of household smithing, turning underwear into sharp blades that are sharp enough to cut through vegetables. All kinds of other stuff. This was from his craftsman's name was. See if I get this. Excuse me, it's kind of long. Atoteki Fushinsha no Kiwami. There you go. All right.
God bless you.
Thank you. He actually, his YouTube channel and on all his info streams, he has a ridiculous list of handmade knives crafted from really weird materials, and I think he ranks them in terms of a sharpness of where they fit. But no, he just runs this is a whole video he runs, and he starts with a pack of cotton underwear. 100% cotton trunks, and he just cuts them into strips. And the thing here you got to look at those. It's actually pretty smart how he does this. It's 92% nylon and 8% polyurethane blend. And the key is about how he uses the polyurethane. So he's actually found the ratio of heating that he needs to do with just a heavy cast iron pan you could put over like a gas stove. He gets that up to about 300 degrees or so. Celsius, and then he puts that onto the press cloth, and effectively, it's crazy. The style of folding here really reminds me of almost katana blade making with what he's doing this, but it's a constant state of folding fabric into a good state, and then pressing that, and then on top of the next layer, and pressing it until it gets hardened. And he does a couple of demos of it, just showing if he folds a couple of strips a certain way, and then places them, on a board, and then between enough weight. And presses those, how material actually hardens instead of just being a soft fabric like it should. But it's ridiculous. He gets a file for this thing, and once he gets it hardened enough and has it folded, it shapes out the handle, and then by the end of the video, he's cutting vegetables with it. So
yeah, I'm watching this. So I mean, like, this would be awesome. This would be awesome if he was, he just did something really weird, like squirting some water or something. This would be really awesome if he was, I mean, he's tempering this, though. That's what's bothering me about this. I mean, he gets out an iron, he's using a stove.
Yep.
He's tempering this stuff. And I believe, if you're getting to the point where you're using electricity, you're kind of cheating.
Yeah.
I mean, this is interesting that he's able to do this. I will be honest, I would have never thought of making a knife out of my underwear. But when you get to the point where you need a knife to make a knife, you're kind of getting past the point of making a knife.
Well, what if you just what if you just have the scissors and you really want a knife? I mean,
then you take apart the scissors.
Oh man, I love it.
Not only if you take apart the scissors for a knife, you don't get one knife, you get two.
But wait, there's more.
That's right.
Okay.
So I mean, this is interesting. Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah.
But this is also pointless.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at all the things he's using here to do this.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's like, why? So I could understand if this is like some kind of survivalist kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or it's like, if you have to make a tool, but
yeah,
no.
Good Lord, man. Good Lord.
Yeah, this is, he's sanding it. No. All right.
Well,
but at the end of this video, he has a ranking. All right. And like he made it, it's not even a very good non-metallic knife.
No, it's not.
It's actually not even very good. It ranked to 8 out of 10 out of all the different knives he's made. What else has he made here?
8 out of.
Yeah, let me see.
Actually, I think he's got about. I think it was mid-ish. He's got 13.
Okay, yeah, he's got 13 and it ranked 8.
Yep.
All right, here. Okay, so yeah, he's made knives. Number 1 was carbon fiber. That's actually not that shocking.
Right.
Number 2 is pasta.
I actually want to see that now. Yeah.
Number 3 is rice. 4 was Jello. Actually, I can see that because Jello's pretty flexible.
Right.
Wood. Okay, yeah, people get splinters all the time.
Makes sense.
So, a plate, plastic bottles, underwear underneath. So what doesn't cut as good as underwear? Plastic food wrap, cardboard. Let's see, what are the other ones here? That is some kind of Asian word right there. Katsubushi.
Yeah, you got it.
Dried Bontino he has here. Ice. Actually, now that I'm surprised. I'm surprised ice is so low because there are like legitimate like ice deaths from icicles and stuff. I don't think he made that right. To be quite honest with you, I don't think he made that right. I don't know because I guess it wouldn't cut too well.
Right.
But you could pierce
easily.
Yeah. And the last one was chocolate.
Yeah.
I want a chocolate knife.
Oh, chocolate! It's delicious.
I got chocolate in my mouth. I got blood. This is good.
Mouth's all cut. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird taste to it. It could be the chocolate. It could be the blood.
Kind of metallic. Kind of, man, weird.
Man, today's world. I don't think I'm prepared for today's world and the weird things that people are doing.
No, I wasn't ready for this one. But hey, that's YouTube, and that's Kiwami Japan. Kiwami Japan. If you want to check out the channel and actually look at those the rest of the crazy knives he's got.
Yep.
But all right. But that's going to do it for us for now. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay tuned right here for more to come. We got plenty backed up in the gate still. And, of course, you can tune in anytime for more of our movie reviews. Of course, our show reviews, which you will see more of. And we're looking to expand into gaming upcoming.
Oh, my God. There's so much gaming coming.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lots of it.
Be on deck for it. Thank you all again, and we'll catch you again. Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, is there anything to go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but if great, if you could throw some support, you can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Yeah, who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening.